Men don't fall down the alt-right MRA pipeline because the left isn't doing good enough outreach. They choose to subscribe to fascist ideology because they have an investment in maintaining their position in the social hierarchy, and the liberation of other groups threatens that. So Vosh says, I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand that 12-year-old white boys on Twitch are not being pulled into fascism because of some Machiavellian desire to preserve and expand their privileges. It's because the right talks to them and the left doesn't. Leftists and progressives have absolutely no idea how unnecessarily repellent they come off to so many, and they get angry at the idea of being a more effective social movement because they don't want to share their social spaces with people who might have gone another way. Leftists will write master's theses on the effect of socioeconomic conditions on crime, and then shrug when 10 million more young men fall to fascism because their boy brains must be innately fascist, and they choose to be evil, and there's no way this could have been prevented. This is always a good topic to feel smug over because the replies and quote tweets are saturated with people who literally think we should care about men's problems and offer them advice is a dog whistle for we should build a Fourth Reich, thus proving a problem. I thought that a good place to kind of like jump into this discussion would be by watching Vosh discuss these tweets with Anna Kasparian is her name. Thank you, chat.
So before we get to all of that, what the potential solutions could be, talk to me about what you see, what you think the problem is right now with young men feeling alienated in the United States.
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to something leftists tend to be more comfortable talking about, which is toxic masculinity. You know, male loneliness is often an emergent property of toxic masculinity, which is, by the way, nobody likes this term, right? The right gets really upset when you say toxic masculinity because it sounds like you're upset with masculinity in general, and it's a really vague term. So let's just say, I think a lot of guys can be kind of antisocial because they're taught that sort of independence is a masculine virtue. They're taught that you know, there's value in keeping your feelings bottled up. Now, obviously, it's pretty harmful. It makes people feel kind of lonely, makes them bad at reaching out to others, connecting, sharing their interests, building friendships. I think it's one of the reasons why guys tend to view dating as sort of adversarial, because they don't think of like a woman as like, oh, you know, well, maybe we'll just get along on some shared interests. Maybe we'll have something in common. They think of it as this like a mating battle, which, you know, I don't think it has to be. And as a product of that, a lot of guys feel like they have no social inroads and they're kind of drifting through life without connections to people. It really sucks. And the left could, you know, use that as an opportunity to maybe improve some people's lives, introduce them to.
I mean, reading between the lines a little bit, I'm not throwing aspersions here, but I mean, like, it's kind of like, hey, you know, this gullible group of and social misfits, we could probably exploit those guys on the left here too. It's probably a good idea that we try to get some of those, you know? And the rest of the left is like, but we don't like them. Few of them here and there peppered in, all right, baseline tolerable. But you want a bunch of these like men joining our ranks, you know? I mean, they, you know, you say disaffected lonely men and like instantly a million comic book guys from The Simpsons and shit in their minds. Vosh is basically saying like, guys, I think we should try to win some of these over to our team because we're going to need that. We're going to need the reinforcements. And a bunch of other leftists being like, Vosh, we don't even like you here. The idea of there being a bunch more of your kind here, frankly, makes us sick. Please go away. And I mean, like, the weird thing about this whole argument is both sides are right and their opinions don't even contradict each other. That's why I think the argument I just laid out is what's really going on here. What I just laid out is the actual subtext of this argument. I mean, it really should just be the text. They should really just have it out and argue about like Vosh being like, we need these guys, we need them on our team, we need them on our help, and them being like, we don't like them, we don't like you, we don't like your ideas, fudge off. So this like idea about it's this deeper question about lonely men, kind of ridiculous to me. I mean, like if you actually look at the stats about 13-year-olds in America, they're like very left wing. So I don't know why there's all this, oh God, they're going alt-right, they're going alt-right. It's like that, nothing really bears that out. But like, yeah, I mean, there's always going to be some kids that go right wing. There's like always going to be right wingers. You're never going to have a day where it's like, woo, they're gone. You know, it's not going to happen. Even if you killed them all, there's going to be more. Like it's an idea. It doesn't die. It's not genetic. It's like there's always going to be some people who get suckered in to the right wing grift. And, you know, the concern, I guess, is about these figures like Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson and this and that. I don't really think there's too many 13-year-olds listening to them. I think it's probably a little bit older of a demographic than that. But, you know, hey, whatever. Granting this hypothetical, you know, impressionable 13-year-old that just, oh, yeah. you know, is it true that the left talking to them would help recruit them and it's a good idea to do that? In my opinion, yeah. But is it also true that they kind of go in with their eyes open and know what the fudge they're doing, and it's not just because they're these poor lonely souls? Yeah. Because guess what? As a man with a penis and balls, unless you are like an aberration, like an asexual or something, you want sex. Women want it too, but men really want it, okay? Men really want it, and the reason that men want it more is probably more of a social reason. It's because women can get it whenever they want. You know, any woman, she's bombarded. Like, I've seen it. Like, you know, just bombarded with offers all the time. Hey, you interested in me? Hey, you interested in me? Hey, you interested in me? No, 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 no. I'm not. Sorry. These guys are desperate for sex. And the left comes to them and says to them, like, no woman owes you sex. Totally true statement. 100% a true statement. No woman does owe them sex. But you know what they hear when they hear that statement? You're going to be lonely forever. Everything you want in life, it's never going to happen for you. And that's the way things should be. You know, that's what they hear. And the right wing comes to them and says, like, you know what? You are owed sex. You should have a perfect 10, hot but tradcon, traditional family values wife who minds the homestead, who rubs your feet when they're sore, rubs your shoulders, rubs your back, makes you dinner, takes care of the kids while you go out and you win that bread and you have your fun and you drink with the boys and you come home and there's dinner waiting hot for you on the table. And it's summer barbecues and it's old school traditional American values like you seen on Leave It to Beaver. Oh, yeah, back when things used to be good. It was a man's world back then. And like these kids, or even these guys, these older guys, never stop to think for a fudging second, like, that doesn't make sense. Every guy had some woman like that, a perfect 10 subservient fudge. Like, that wasn't real. They're being sold a fudge pipe dream. Because guess what? Most of these fudge guys we're talking about, these incel types or these near incel types, it doesn't matter what social configuration we're living under. Doesn't matter if you're living 1950s, fudge, and, you know, traditional family values, apple pie America bull poop. Or if you're living in a you know, leftist communist fudge and, you know, techno communist future or whatever, no matter what the system, most of these guys are just not going to be all that appealing as partners. Some of them can improve themselves. Some of them can do the work. A lot of them can't. A lot of them ain't even going to clean up that well. A lot of them don't really have all that much going on. And in a society where women are free to choose who they fudge, those guys are just the fudge losers. And maybe the best thing that anybody can do, left or right, is give them coping strategies for that. Quit telling them the lie that they could, that if only you vote for us and only you support this agenda, you're going to have this wonderful and the left is like, oh, well, if only you're going to be such a better person, you can be healthier, stronger, blah, 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 and we're going to improve all your deficits, and eventually some woman somewhere is going to fudge you. It's like, quit selling these people lies. Like, sell them the truth. Sell them the truth that in the mating game, they're on the short end of the stick. So their choices are lower your standards way the fudge down, or learn to love prostitutes, learn to love jerking off, learn to meditate instead of masturbate, learn some coping strategy for the fact that you're probably not going to get laid, and if you do, it's not going to be very much, and it's probably not going to be very good. But you know what? Yeah, have outreach. Reach out to lonely guys. Sure, do it. 100%. Have fun. Reach out to them. But reach out to them with a message that's realistic. And I'm not just saying this to lefties. I'm saying this to righties, too. Quit trying to sell these guys a fudge delusion. Help them cope. If you can help them improve enough to get laid, that's fine. If you can help them improve enough to actually be attractive to mates, okay, cool. Great, good for you, good for them, good for everybody. But like, let's admit, there's some fudge lost causes out there in this department. I'm not saying they don't have any worth as human beings or they can't be valuable members of society in other ways. But in this respect, they're just not they're just not good at it, okay? It's just not for them. It's not their arena. It's never gonna be. The sooner they accept that about themselves, probably better off. Incel gets gangbanged by a bunch of sex robots. I mean, well, look, technologically, if we can advance to a point where there can be legitimate sex robots to service the needs of these men, that's probably going to be a boon to society because they're going to take out their weird aggressions there, and they're not going to shoot up yoga studios. Are you projecting? I am married.